arrest for insider trading.
Oh, no struggle, baby.
I was set up.
The news gets worse. You're bankrupt.
Get me a new lawyer. You double-crossed me.
Oh, check this out.
Everybody hands up.
Hold it. Cheers! Ooh, is that necessary? Super necessary.
The Boss, rated R.
Yeah, some of you probably aren't going to like what I have to say about this first movie here, but it's complicated. We'll touch on it as we go along here. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. We are taking a look at the 3 films that make up April 8th, 2016, and we're starting off with the biggest of the new releases, the latest starring Melissa McCarthy, and that is The Boss. The story follows Melissa McCarthy's character, Michelle Darnell, a titan of industry who is sent to prison after he's convicted of insider trading. Gee, does that sound familiar? Of course, I'm talking about Donald Trump. Certainly not somebody who he was associated with one of his Apprentice spin-offs. Not her, but you get the joke there. But after she's released from prison, she emerges ready to rebuild her fortune at any cost. However, everyone she has screwed over is not so quick to forgive and forget. So the last time that Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone worked on a movie together, as star and director, that was Tammy, and I think you know how that went. But I can honestly say that this is a vast improvement over Tammy in the case that I actually did laugh at this. And not just little chuckles, but there were some pretty good, hard laughs I got from this. I mean, this movie was alright. It wasn't anything incredible or one of those films that's guaranteed to be on a best of the year list, but it's a fun little comedy. I did get more laughs out of this than I did in some of Melissa McCarthy's other movies. I thought she was really good in here. I thought she was really funny in this. She has a lot of really good funny lines, and she does work out for Kristen Bell very well. There's also a lot of great talent involved in this. Kathy Bates, Peter Dinklage, Tyler Labine, Cedric Yarborough, Timothy Simmons, Cecily Strong, Kristen Shaw. The comedy was surprisingly really good. They did steer away from the constant fat jokes and gross-out humor that they usually expect for a movie like this, especially for a Melissa McCarthy movie. And for the most part, a lot of it does work. Where the film starts to kind of fall apart is that it has a really lackluster story that's very convoluted and confusing. It starts off with McCarthy's character being arrested for insider trading. And then she decides to open up a Girl Scouts cookie business. So you think it's going to be, like an R-rated version of True Beverly Hills. But then it goes to a Trading Places style movie, which, I mean, Will Ferrell produced this movie, by the way. And again, the campaign, Get Hard, and now this, just like, dude, just remake Trading Places already instead of trying to cover up a movie by making it original, because you're doing a terrible job at it. Like, and again, it does eventually go into an R-rated True Beverly Hills, and then the ending, there's no ending, honestly. It just kind of stops. Like, I'm not even kidding. That scene you see there with the sword and all that, McCarthy tries to get the contract she signed with Dinklage's character, and they start having a sword fight. You think it's going to lead into something incredibly funny, like an over-the-top finale, but then, I mean, the fight takes it up to the top of Dinklage's building. It literally ends with Dinklage just saying, "Just fuck me already." And McCarthy going, "Okay." And it's just like, that's it. That's the whole ending. So they built this entire climax at the end, only for the whole conflict to be settled on the stupidest of reasons. I mean, you really would have been just better off by having the end of the Bugs Bunny What's Up Doc cartoon, where you have Bugs in the chorus, and the guys are going like, "Oh, we're the boys of the chorus. We hope you liked our show. We know you're rooting for us, but now we have to go." Like, that type of thing. Like, that would have made more sense than the actual ending was. I mean, you almost had something, and then you just decided, no, we're not going to do an ending here. We're going to go way beyond your imagination with some random No Country for Old Men style ending here, where they don't even have an ending. It's just like, really? That's what you're building it up to? But the way the story is told is what hurts the movie overall. But other than that, I actually didn't mind it. It's not a movie I'd watch over and over again, but it's at least a movie where I got more laughs out of it than I would say some of her other movies, but it's fine for what it is. It's a movie that I wouldn't say check it out if you hate a lot of her other movies, but I would say if you're looking for something that shows McCarthy's really true funny elements that make her funny, like something like Spy or Bridesmaids, or even something I don't like, which is The Heat, this one might actually be worth a watch. Just don't expect it to be a multiple watched movie. I mean, the best way to describe it is, if it comes on Comedy Central or TBS in the next couple of months, and there's nothing else on, give it a watch. It's actually worth it, so. But let's get to the real winner of this weekend. Easily the best movie of the year. One of the best movies of the year. Not the best movie of the year, but certainly one of the best movies. And a film that is very underrated in my opinion. That is Hardcore Henry.
Love you, Henry.
Let's go get you washed. Guys!
Don't change your channel. Hardcore Henry, rated R.
So Hardcore Henry is an action film told from a first-person perspective. You remember nothing, mainly because you've just been brought back from the dead by your wife, played by Haley Bennett. She tells you that your name is Henry. 5 minutes later, you're being shot at. Your wife's been kidnapped, and you should probably go get her back. Who's got her? His name's Akin. He's a powerful warlord with an army of mercenaries and a plan for world domination. You're also in the very unfamiliar city of Moscow, and everyone wants you dead. Everyone except for a British fellow called Jimmy, played by Sharlto Copley. He may be on your side, but you aren't sure. If you can survive the insanity and solve the mystery, you might just discover your purpose and the truth behind your identity. Good luck, Henry. You're gonna need it. And of course, I obviously am not saying that, but that's what the studio that put this out there, which is STX Films, who have had a couple of decent movies, some pretty good movies. The Gift was a really good movie that came out last year, and surely this one definitely is one of their highlight films. I mean, every once in a while you get that one movie that is a little turn your brain off and just enjoy the fun movie. The first Transformers movie is like that. The Crank films, the first 2 Expendables movies. This one is one of those movies that should be considered one of those films. This was an awesome movie. I had a blast watching this movie. It's a movie where the story does not matter in terms of being great, and you're just enjoying the spectacle that is on screen, because it is definitely there, and it is beautiful and glorious to watch. Like I said, the story is about as generic as you can get. The bad guy kidnaps the hero's wife. The hero has to fight the bad guys all throughout the film together. There's twists, turns, and in the end, the hero completes his mission. We've seen the story done over and over again countless times. We know exactly where it's going to go. Even the bad guy is pretty generic himself, but for this movie, it really does not matter, man. What matters is how the movie plays out the story, and the big thing that this movie does so well is take place in the first-person mode. The audience, where we, the audience, as Henry, are Henry, and we have never seen Henry himself, and the POV cinematography in this is well done. This is what makes the movie so awesome. They do a great job of creating this effect that we're doing this, and it really does not feel like we're fake at all. It feels authentic. It feels awesome. It also leads to the potential that this technology could have in future movies, and surprisingly, not a whole lot of other movies have done this kind of thing. I'm sure there's some that I can't think off the top of my head, but there's definitely... This definitely felt like this should have been a game changer for how we do action movies in general, But another thing that was great about this movie was the soundtrack. The songs they chose perfectly fit the situation, especially the climax where they played Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, and it just perfectly fits the tone of the action going on, and it's just such badass awesomeness. Even the ending is so well done. Once you see what the twist is, which you can kind of see coming a mile away, but it ends in such a great fuck yeah moment that it just fits the tone of the entire movie. But the biggest surprise in this movie to me was Sharlto Copley, who after a breakout role in District 9 took these kind of bland, forgettable roles in Maleficent and Chappie, but he redeems himself really well in this movie. I thought he was incredible in this. He plays a guy who's consistently helping out Henry throughout the film and consistently keeps dying in these ridiculous ways, but they do explain how he survives these, and I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. You just got to see it for yourself, man. But he was amazing in this movie, playing all these different personalities, and you could just tell he was having the time of his life doing this. You have to wonder, why the fuck can he be like this in other movies as well, man, honestly. But this is a great movie. It doesn't work story-wise overall. It's a generic story that's been done to death before, and will probably be done even more long after this movie's come out. But it's one of the more fun movie-going experiences I've ever had in the theater, man. This is a fun time. The action is great. The POV cinematography is great. The characters are great. I had so much fun watching this. This is a great, great movie, man. One of the best movies of the year. I can't recommend this one enough if you haven't seen it already. Seek out Hardcore Henry if you haven't seen it. It's definitely worth it. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie, the latest film from Jean-Marc Vallée, and that is Demolition.
There was love between me and Julia, but I don't think I knew who she really was. Now that she's gone, I don't even feel sad or hurt.
But what do you feel? To prepare the human heart, you have to take everything apart.
What are we doing?
Have you ever wanted to smash something?
You miss her?
I'm trying to. Do you think it's too late to put it all back together? Demolition.
A bulldozer.
You can buy almost anything on eBay.
Rated R. April 8th.
I'm driving a bulldozer. Of course, the infamous nostalgia critic Tank Girl line, where he literally thought it was a bulldozer, but it was actually a forklift, which unfortunately he missed out the opportunity to use the MST3K. He tried to kill me with a forklift bit, but that's not this. That's not that movie. That's not this movie here. This is the latest film from John Mark Valet. Actually, his last film before he died. So you have Jake Gyllenhaal, who's a successful private equity fund partner who struggles after losing his wife in a tragic car crash. Despite pressures from his father-in-law, Chris Cooper, to put it together, Davis continues to unravel. What starts as a complaint letter to a vending machine company turns into a series of letters revealing startling personal admissions. Davis's letter catches the attention of a customer service rep, played by Naomi Watts, and amidst emotional and financial burdens of his own, the two form an unlikely connection. With the help of her and her son, Judah Lewis, Davis starts to rebuild, beginning with the demolition of the life he once knew. And and this one's definitely not the best one for John Mark Valet to go out the note on after what he did with Wild and Dallas Buyers Club. I mean, those movies overall I think are his best overall films in general. But this one just didn't work really, solely because the script overall is kind of very confusing overall. And yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is pretty good in the movie, as is everybody else, Naomi Watts and Chris Cooper, but it doesn't. The tonal shifts really are where it kind of falls apart. It doesn't. There's not really an indication of if this wants to be a straightforward black comedy or something more serious in the vein of something like Wild. It tries to do both and kind of fails on both levels overall. I kind of was hoping maybe we'd get something similar to something like what John Mark Valet did with Wild, instead of Reese Witherspoon as Jake Gyllenhaal. But yeah, there are times when it feels like he's trying to go in that direction, but there's also times when it's trying to be a little bit like Nightcrawler 2. Which doesn't really work in this film's sense overall. It's kind of it's an overall letdown overall. You expect so much better with a concept like this and a good cast like this, but it just sadly wasn't there with this movie. So yeah, unfortunately, it's a hard skip on Demolition. They can go ahead and demolish this movie out of our memory banks. And that's with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. We head into the middle of April next time around with a couple of big movies, both in wide release and in limited release. So a lot of good movies, including Jon Favreau's surprisingly really good live-action adaptation of Disney's The Jungle Book. That comedy sequel I was touching on a couple weeks ago when we were talking about bad comedy sequels like My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. Here's an example of a good comedy sequel coming along after the last movie, Barbershop: The Next Cut. We also have the ensemble crime drama Criminal. We also have, Green Room, and also Sing Street. So 5 movies overall to take a look at, and we'll take a look at those movies coming up tomorrow on the show. So stay tuned for that. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.